Sometimes you walk into a room and you can feel the shift instantly. People look at you differently, conversations pause for a moment, or someone who was confidently chatting suddenly becomes quiet or awkward. You haven't said anything. You haven't done anything. You are just being yourself. But your presence carries a certain power, an energy, a confidence, a truth that makes some people deeply uncomfortable. And the truth behind that reaction is simple: your uniqueness exposes their insecurity. You see, people who haven't done the inner work, people who haven't built themselves, people who rely on external validation to feel worthy, they get nervous around someone who is grounded in who they are. You don't have to speak loudly. You don't need to brag. Sometimes your calmness is louder than their noise. Sometimes your silence is more powerful than their words. Your confidence is not arrogance. It's the quiet understanding that you don't need to compete with anyone. But to insecure people, that confidence looks like a threat. Your uniqueness becomes a mirror that reflects their gaps, their weaknesses, and the parts of themselves they refuse to confront. When they look at you, they don't just see you. They see everything they lack. They see the courage they never had. They see the discipline they never built. They see the strength they pretended to have but never developed. And instead of learning from you or admiring you, they feel exposed. They feel small. They feel insecure. People who haven't found themselves yet can't stand being around someone who has. They mistake your self-respect for ego. They mistake your peace for distance. They mistake your boundaries for attitude. Why? Because insecure people view everything through the filter of their own fear. They think you are trying to be better than them, when in reality, you are simply trying to be better than who you used to be. Your uniqueness triggers people who are pretending. If someone is faking confidence, your real confidence threatens them. If someone is faking success, your genuine progress irritates them. If someone is used to being the center of attention, your presence alone makes them feel overshadowed. Even if you're not trying to outshine anyone, some people are not intimidated by what you have. They are intimidated by what you carry inside, your values, your consistency, your emotional strength, your authenticity. These are qualities that cannot be copied. And insecure people hate what they cannot imitate. They can copy your style, your words, your ideas, even your mannerisms, but they can't copy your spirit. And that's what makes them nervous. When someone hasn't done the deep work, your growth feels like an insult to them. Your uniqueness reminds them of the potential they wasted. It highlights the excuses they have been living behind. In their mind, your success becomes a personal attack. Your progress turns into a comparison they never asked for but can't escape. So instead of facing their own reflection, they turn you into the problem. They start acting weird. They become distant. They make passive, aggressive comments. They try to belittle you or make you question your worth. They gossip, criticize, or downplay your achievements. But understand something: none of this is about you. Every reaction is a confession of their insecurity. Their discomfort is a silent admission that you represent something they wish they had within themselves. Your presence exposes the truth they hide from the world. It exposes the lies they tell themselves. It exposes the fear they try to mask with confidence and the jealousy they try to hide behind smiles. You are not the cause of their insecurity. You are simply the trigger that makes it visible. And that is why you must never shrink to make others comfortable. Because when you dim your light, they don't become more secure. They just become more dependent on your silence. Your uniqueness is meant to stand out. It is meant to challenge people. It is meant to elevate you to spaces where only the strong can follow. There is a certain type of energy that cannot be faked, cannot be copied, and cannot be contained. It is the energy of someone who has learned to trust themselves, someone who has survived storms, someone who walks with a sense of inner strength that doesn't need to be announced. If you carry this kind of energy, you've probably noticed something strange. Not everyone can handle it. And the truth is, they're not supposed to. Your energy carries your history. It carries every lesson, every heartbreak, every victory, every transformation you've experienced. It carries your resilience. When you enter a room, you don't just bring your physical presence, you bring your journey. People feel it, even if they can't explain it. Some feel inspired, others feel threatened, some feel curious, others feel intimidated. The way people react to you says more about them than it does about you. Some individuals are so used to environments filled with insecurity, negativity, and shallow interactions that when someone with depth, clarity, and authenticity shows up, they don't know how to process it. Your energy disrupts their normal. It challenges them. It exposes what they're lacking and what they've been ignoring. The truth is, strong energy exposes weak foundations, and those who aren't ready to confront their own weaknesses will find excuses to avoid you. Your kindness alone can intimidate someone who has only learned how to manipulate. Your confidence can unsettle someone who relies on pretending. Your peace can frustrate someone who is addicted to chaos. Your discipline can irritate someone who lives life on excuses. Your growth can offend someone who decided long ago they were done improving. It's not that you are doing anything wrong. It's simply that your energy reminds them of the person they could be, but choose not to become. There are people who feel nervous around you because they can sense your potential even before you can. They feel that you are going somewhere big in life. And that discomfort grows when they realize they may not be able to follow you there. People who lack vision will always feel uneasy around someone who carries purpose. People who lack courage will always feel overwhelmed by someone who refuses to shrink. You may notice that certain people avoid deep conversations with you. They stick to small talk because they know your presence demands authenticity. They know they can't wear their masks around you. They know you see things others miss, and that's exactly why they keep their distance. Not everyone is ready to be seen. Not everyone wants to be understood. Not everyone wants to be challenged to grow, and your energy forces people to face truths they've been running from. And then there are those who act like they don't like you, but it's not dislike, it's fear. Fear of being exposed, fear of being compared, fear of being replaced, fear of being forgotten next to someone whose energy naturally shines brighter. When people have built their life on pretending, your authenticity becomes a threat. When people build their self-worth on being the strongest or the smartest in the room, your presence makes them question their position. Your energy is not loud, but it is powerful. You don't need to speak to be noticed. You don't need to demand respect. It is felt naturally. People can sense the confidence you carry, the self-control you have developed, the emotional intelligence you've earned through pain and growth. They can feel the intensity of your focus, the clarity of your purpose, the honesty of your heart. And this is something that cannot be taught. That's why it can't be handled by everyone. Not everyone has healed enough to appreciate your goodness. Not everyone has grown enough to value your loyalty. Not everyone has matured enough to understand your silence. Not everyone has strengthened their spirit enough to withstand the power of your presence. So when people step back, when they act funny, when they seem uncomfortable around you, don't take it personally. You are not too much. They are simply not enough for the level you operate on, and that's okay. You are not meant for everyone. Some people will be inspired by your energy. Others will be intimidated by it. Some will admire you, others will avoid you, but the ones who are meant to stay will rise to match your frequency, not shrink from it. Jealousy is one of the most misunderstood reactions people have towards someone who is growing, evolving, or simply standing confidently in their own identity. Most people view jealousy as negativity, as something toxic, as something meant to bring them down. But if you look deeper, you will realize something powerful. Jealousy is often a silent compliment. It means you carry something that others notice, even if they don't want to admit it. It means your presence awakens feelings in people they didn't expect. It means you are doing something right. Jealousy doesn't always come from hate. Sometimes it comes from admiration mixed with insecurity. People will not always admit that they see something special in you, but their behavior will. They may distance themselves. They may throw indirect comments. They may suddenly act cold. They may gossip or criticize you. And while all of this seems negative on the outside, the root of that behavior is deeper. They see in you what they wish they had within themselves. When someone becomes uncomfortable around you, it's rarely because of your flaws. It's almost always because of your strengths. Maybe it's your confidence. Maybe it's your discipline. Maybe it's the courage you have to take risks. Maybe it's the peace you carry no matter how much life tries to shake you. Maybe it's your talent, your wisdom, your personality, or simply the light inside you that refuses to dim. People feel this, often more strongly than you do. You might not realize how powerful you are, but others do. And sometimes their jealousy is simply their unspoken acknowledgement of your greatness. They don't tell you directly because their pride won't allow it. They don't congratulate you because doing so would feel like admitting defeat. They don't praise you because they're afraid you'll rise even higher. So instead, they disguise their admiration with criticism. They hide their respect behind sarcasm. They cover their insecurity with judgment. But their reactions don't expose who you are. They expose who they are. The truth is simple. People rarely get jealous of something ordinary. Jealousy is triggered by something exceptional. Nobody envies someone who is not growing. Nobody feels threatened by someone who isn't going anywhere. Jealousy is reserved for those who stand out, because standing out is what threatens the comfortable and exposes the insecure. You may notice that people who once supported you suddenly begin to act differently once you start improving your life. They were comfortable when you were average, predictable, and within their level. But when you start elevating, when you start changing your mindset, when you start building something meaningful, you unintentionally challenge their choices, and that challenge makes them uncomfortable. It's easier for them to criticize your growth than to confront their own stagnation. Jealousy is often a reflection of someone's frustration with themselves. They see your progress as a reminder of their own delays. They see your courage as a reminder of their fears. They see your success as a reminder of their neglected potential. And instead of using your life as a source of inspiration, they turn it into a source of comparison. This comparison breeds jealousy, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something right. What you must remember is this: jealousy is proof that you are on the right path. It means you're no longer blending in. It means you're rising above the noise. It means your journey is becoming visible. People don't get jealous of invisible people. They get jealous of people who shine. So when you notice someone acting strange, giving you unnecessary attitude, or becoming negative without reason, don't shrink. Don't doubt yourself. Don't question your identity. Their jealousy is not a sign for you to lower your standards. It's a sign to keep raising them. Jealousy is confirmation that the energy you carry is rare. It is confirmation that the path you are walking is uncommon. It is confirmation that you are stepping into a version of yourself that others can see, even before you fully see it. Jealousy doesn't mean you should stop. If anything, it means you should keep going, because every time someone silently envies you, it is proof that you have something worth noticing, something worth admiring, something worth protecting. Jealousy is not a problem, it's a message that you are becoming exactly who you were meant to be. There is something powerful about a person who refuses to live life on autopilot, someone who dares to grow, evolve, challenge themselves, and break patterns. This kind of person naturally disrupts the comfort zones of others. And that's exactly what your uniqueness does. It doesn't just make you different, it makes other people uncomfortable in ways they can't always explain. Not because you are wrong, but because your growth quietly exposes the areas where they've chosen to stay small. People settle into comfort zones because it's easy, it's predictable, it requires no courage, no self-reflection, no discipline. When you show up with ambition, when you show up with self-respect, when you show up with a mindset that refuses to settle, you unintentionally challenge people who have built their lives around staying comfortable. Your uniqueness becomes a silent reminder that more is possible, something they have long avoided confronting. Think about it. When you push yourself to grow, others suddenly feel their own excuses weakening. When you work on your goals, they begin to question why they aren't working on theirs. When you maintain discipline, they feel exposed in their lack of consistency. When you set boundaries, they start to realize how many places they've allowed disrespect. Your evolution becomes a mirror that reflects the stagnation in others. And that is why your uniqueness disrupts their comfort. People who have chosen to stay the same year after year do not like being reminded that change is possible. Deep down, they know they could try harder, be better, aim higher, but they've told themselves the same comforting lies for so long that your determination feels like a threat. They see you doing something they don't have the courage to do, and instead of being inspired, they become defensive. That defensiveness often shows up as jealousy, judgment, or distance. Your uniqueness challenges their beliefs. Maybe they told themselves success is impossible, yet they watch you succeed. Maybe they convince themselves they can't be confident, but your self-respect proves otherwise. Maybe they blamed circumstances for their lack of growth, but your progress exposes that excuse. People don't dislike you because of who you are. They dislike you because of what you represent possibility. The truth is, many people want to stay in environments where they don't have to grow. They prefer friendships that don't push them. They prefer routines that don't challenge them. They prefer relationships that don't require accountability. So when someone like you enters their life, someone who is growing, evolving, elevating, they cling to their comfort zone even tighter. Your uniqueness creates internal pressure for them to evolve, and not everyone is ready to face that pressure. They might pull away, criticize you, belittle your dreams, or act like you're doing too much. They don't say these things because you're wrong. They say them because your growth reminds them how long they've been standing still. And this is where you must understand something important. Your uniqueness is not supposed to fit into everyone's comfort zone. You are not meant to make insecure people feel safer in their stagnation. You are not meant to lower yourself to keep others comfortable. You are not meant to stay small just so others don't feel confronted by your potential. Your uniqueness disrupts comfort zones because it carries truth, it carries possibility, it carries courage, it carries change. And change is something people resist when they're scared of stepping into a higher version of themselves. Some people will distance themselves from you without explanation. Some will act cold. Some will become passive-aggressive. Some will try to downplay your achievements. None of this is because you've done something wrong. It's because they feel the ground beneath their comfort zone shaking, and they blame you for it. But remember this, the people who are meant for you will not be threatened by your uniqueness. They will be inspired by it. The right people will see your growth and want to grow with you. They will not shrink from your light. They will rise to match it. There comes a point in life when you must understand a simple truth. You were not created to shrink yourself just to make others comfortable. Your uniqueness, your strength, your voice, your ambition, your energy, these are not accidents. They are gifts. And gifts are not meant to be hidden because someone else feels insecure. Your light is not a mistake. Your glow is not a problem. The people who feel threatened by you are revealing their own limitations, not yours. For too long, you may have walked through life trying not to stand out too much. You may have lowered your tone, softened your opinions, played small, or pretended to be average just to blend in. But the truth is, you were born to stand out. You were built with qualities that were meant to draw attention, not because you want it, but because the world needs what you carry. When you dim your light to make insecure people feel safe, you betray the very purpose of your existence. You must understand your uniqueness is not arrogance. Having confidence is not the same as being full of yourself. Knowing your worth is not the same as thinking you're better than others. People often confuse these things because they have never taken the time to develop real confidence. When someone has built their whole identity on external validation, they cannot understand someone who gets their strength from within, so they project their insecurities onto you. You may have noticed people saying things like, "You've changed," "You're too much now," "You think you're better than us." But these statements are not about you. They are reactions to the fact that you stopped playing small. You started setting boundaries. You stopped entertaining foolishness. You began to grow, and growth makes people uncomfortable, especially those who expected you to stay beneath them. But here is the truth. You do not owe anyone a smaller version of yourself. You do not owe anyone your silence, your dimmed energy, or your lowered ambitions just so they can feel comfortable. You are not responsible for their insecurity. You are not responsible for their jealousy. You are not responsible for their discomfort. You are only responsible for one thing, becoming the highest version of yourself. The people who belong in your life will celebrate you. They will not be intimidated by your greatness. They will not compete with you. They will not feel threatened. They will admire your courage, support your growth, and rise to match your energy. These are the people who deserve access to you. Anyone who wants you to dim your light is simply telling you that they were never meant to walk with you on your journey. Your light will naturally expose people's darkness. Your peace will expose their chaos. Your discipline will expose their procrastination. Your confidence will expose their doubts. This exposure is uncomfortable for them, but it is necessary for you. You were not born to live a life of hiding. You were born to illuminate, so keep rising, keep shining, keep becoming. Do not hold back. Do not apologize for evolving. Do not slow down just to make someone else feel fast. Do not shrink yourself just to fit into spaces that were too small for you to begin with. The world needs people who are willing to shine without fear, without guilt, without permission. Be one of them. At the end of the day, the people who get nervous, jealous, or uncomfortable around you are simply revealing that they cannot meet you where you are going. And that is perfectly fine. Not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Not everyone is meant to walk beside you. Your responsibility is not to limit yourself, it is to fulfill your purpose. Keep rising into your greatness. Keep stepping into who you were always meant to become. Your light is not a burden, it is a blessing. Those who can handle it will stay. Those who can't will fall away. But you keep shining because your uniqueness was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to lead you to the life you deserve.